Hey everyone, this is Curb Knight, and today we're continuing the never-ending train of my suffering. This is going to be the second game of me playing Lilfa. This time we're going up against Feltyrosa. So I'm going to be going first this time, riding into the grade 1. Our opponent's going to be riding into the Ballista, mostly just using the skill to basically just plus, because the Ballista ride line is actually very, very good. So we're seeing me discard 2 of those grade 3 triple rares that we're going to be seeing as our main grade 3. You're going to see in a little bit that it turns out to be the biggest mistake of my life. But anyways, we're going to swing at the Vanguard for 16. The floor is now a booster. We hit into a critical trigger, giving our opponent 2 damage. Unfortunately, we do see a defensive, so even though this trigger is at 15, it can no longer hit. So definitely a deeply unfortunate call off of the floor, but it is fine because next turn we will be able to actually bounce it back to our hand and us with our Lilfa skill. So we do see riding into the grade 2 Ballista. Unfortunately for me, putting a grade 3 Feltyrosa in the skill, meaning that they're going to be stacking an extra 10k into their front row ghosts during their first grade 3 turn. And considering I'm a deck that has very little shield value, that is going to be very deadly for me. So obviously we're going to be playing that order card, giving the Vanguard an extra 5k, drawing 1 card off the order and 1 more card off of the grade 2. And basically just Ballista is just so good in like literally any deck. So it looks like we're just going to swing a pass. Not going to be guarding that because obviously I don't want to risk it for 1 to pass. Unfortunately, throwing a Persona Ride into the damage zone, another card I would have really liked to have. So I'm going to be pitching the draw trigger, adding the floor back, and then using the floor skill again. And then I'm going to be calling another draw trigger off of it. And then we run into the inevitable problem with Lilfa. I do not have 2 more grade 2 or greater units in my hand. I believe I have 1 grade 3, which is not enough because Lilfa requires you to have a full back row. And since I discarded my 2 grade 3s, I'm not going to have enough. My opponent's going to 2 to pass here, and I'm actually going to miraculously hit it, hitting into an over trigger, but that's still going to push them to 3, hitting into a draw trigger. So at this point, until I can manage to get another grade 2 or greater unit, I'm going to just be playing vanilla Vanguard, just not even going to be able to call any rear guards because I have nothing but triggers in my hand and that 1 grade 3 unit. So you could say that this is my fault because I did discard 2 grade 3s. I'm sorry I made the huge mistake of thinking that in a deck that is comprised of 50% grade 3s, I would be able to draw into one. But clearly that is not the case, as I have a handful of triggers. I guess the positive of that is that I can actually guard, whereas like if I had a handful of grade 3s, I wouldn't be able to guard. But you know, I'd actually be able to do something as opposed to what I'm doing right now, which is nothing. Anyways, Feltyrosa coming on down, using the Forbidden All order to call out the Ingrid as well as the grade 3 cycle card, a card I really wish I had in this situation, but of course I don't. Swinging at 36, don't really have much to do. Hit into a heal trigger, which is nice because it's defensive, but unfortunately the cycle card is going to be getting another 10k thanks to its own skill, so it's still going to be hitting over that defensive for 41. I'm going to bank on another defensive, unfortunately hitting into that grade 3 that I needed to actually do anything, but no, it is what it is. This Feltyrosa is going to be swinging for a 1 to pass. I'm going to do a 3 to pass. Going to be checking a Feltyrosa off the top there. Checking a a draw trigger for the second check. We have 2 more checks, I believe. Oh, no, yeah. Well, we had 2 more checks after that one, but we're hitting to a critical trigger means that we're not going to be able to actually call anything else, so we're just going to have to swing with the Feltyrosa at 33, another 15k guard. So I managed to live that turn with 3 damage, hoping I could draw into literally anything that is a grade 2 or greater, but no, I just draw into another trigger, meaning that this is going to be another vanilla turn. I mean, theoretically, I could turn floor into a booster, but the worst part about this is that floor is supposed to be your grade 3 fixer, where it gives you all those grade 3 units that become your boosters, but unless you do actually see those grade 3s in your back row, you can't bounce floor, and you can't reuse it, and you can't do anything. So I am finally going to get a drive check of something that is higher than grade 0, but at this point I'm at 3 damage. We're going to have to see how much effort that actually is going to help me. because we are going to be seeing this turn started off with a Persona Ride. My opponent still has so many cards in hand, mostly just because they haven't had to guard literally anything. So basically all those cards are just burning a hole in their pocket. Calling out the grade 2, Soul Blessing 1, calling back the Ingrid. I believe we put the Ingrid in last turn with the skill of the grade 1, and then just Soul Blasting out, calling it back out, counter charging yet again, swinging already for 38. So now we do have 2 Feltyrosas in the soul. So pretty big number. That is like what? 30k guard, which I am going to commit because I feel like I need to be able to guard what I can efficiently. This Ingrid is swinging at 46, hitting into another Persona Ride, which I definitely would have liked to have in my hand, or at least even be able to call at least. This Vanguard's going to be swinging, just going to be PGing it, discarding probably a trigger. Oh, that's the other grade 3 that I have. Now that I have 2 grade 3s, I don't really need it. Drive checking into a Ghost, the PG, and I believe there's a little bit of a misplay here. I think this should be the last drive check, because in order to get the drive +1, you do actually have to call a card. But we are going to be seeing a 4th drive check here, which I believe we should not be doing, calling out the Ingrid. But let's be honest, it's not really going to matter. I'm playing a dog shit deck, and I'm having the worst fucking time of my life doing it. This grade 1 is swinging for 38 and double crit, so I have to guard it. So the only difference that really would have made is I would have been at 4 instead of 6 here, or instead of 4. I'll be at 6 soon enough, just you wait. But I'm going to be starting my turn. I'm going to have absolutely nothing, using the floor, calling out that I think her name is Elvie, and then playing the Forbid It All, because I managed to get my own. So I will actually be able to cater my board exactly to how I want it, calling out the Psycho card. I do have another one in my hand, but that card is at least shield value in the hand, and it's better than, I guess, whatever I could have. But we are going to be putting it behind, or in front of the floor, because I think I want to just add the floor back to my hand in case, or basically just to amass as much shield value as I can. Like literally, if I bounce the 2 floors, that's as much shield value that I'm going to be getting out of this. So it looks like for our other call target, we're going to be opting to call out to the grade 3 triple rare. Mostly just having it there to be an attacker. Unfortunately, I didn't Persona Ride, so I'm not going to be hitting very good numbers. My only chance of winning here is honestly just like sack OT and like kill. But you can see the number of cards in my opponent's hand. There's like no way I'm breaking through that without like some sort of like miracle, because this first swing is just going to be a 13 or 26, because it doesn't get a 5k, because it has to be called from the hand in order to get an extra 5k, which is, you know, fantastic. Gonna be taking that. I guess theoretically I could have also damage denied here. Maybe would have made things a little bit easier. We wouldn't have been able to use a Feltyrosa skill. Maybe I have a chance to actually see next turn, but at this point I'm so defeated that like there's no point. But swinging the only 19, not a great number, but using the skill, adding back the grade 3, calling it out. Now it does get the 5k because it's called by hand. I did add the floor back to the hand, so I'll be able to use it next turn. So just swinging with it, 18, that's just going to call for a 10k guard, and my last attack here for a pitiful 19. Going to just be guarded easily, using another one of my soul, adding the floor back to my hand. Now, I double PG during the last turn, so I don't really have a chance of living here. 6 damage OT is my only way of living, and even if I do live, there's like almost no way for me to get into this game again. Just having 2 completely blank turns because of the nature of your deck and the fact that you didn't draw into the correct cards just feels really, really bad. But I guess Feltyrosa is just going to be doing a bunch of stuff here. The same thing we saw last turn. Call grade 2, use it to call out the Ingrid counter charge. And at this point, I don't really have any shield value in my hand. So it's not really going to matter what my opponent does here. They do have enough to do the 5 attacks. I don't know if they use a Feltyrosa skill, but it's not really going to matter because I'm just going to be taking that first swing because I want to end my suffering. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed. One more Lilfa video to go. I'll see you then.